Good morning, everybody. Here is your video update for those of you that weren't able to make the meeting, and thank you to everybody that was able to attend. I love how our numbers are growing. Your participation is important. It matters to all of us. So one of the things we were focused on today has to do with my agenda, and one of the statements is improvement starts with I. So just thinking about that, we always need to be improving, and what can we do, whether it's on a grand scale or on a small scale. So the recommended focus from me for you is call yourself and listen to your voicemail message. Are you using the phrase, I'll call you back at my earliest convenience? That's not a very positive phrase to use. Convenience implies that when it works for me, I'll get back to you. And if you are using that phrase, unintentionally conveying that message, perhaps you want to say something like, I'll get back to you at my first opportunity. More engaging, more proactive, better received. And also listen to the tone of your voice. Listen to the background sounds. You want to have a very professional, clear, engaging greeting when that consumer calls you. So check out your own voicemail message today. So we had a realtor video talking about some of the things that Washington Realtors and NAR have done for us legislatively. And it was a lead-in to discuss the fact that approximately 26 brokers in Puyallup, Maine, and approximately 8 brokers in the South Hill office have donated somewhere around $2,200 to the Association of Realtors, just out of the kindness of their own hearts. Oh no, wait. It was because they haven't paid their dues yet. Now they're paying a $75 late fee each. If you have not paid your dues, Eric and I want your dues paid by this time next week. So please touch base with us, your appropriate manager, and tell us, confirm that you have paid your dues. It is critical. You do not want to be kicked out of the Association of Realtors, and you don't want to be on Lennox's list, frankly. So get your dues paid. Also wanted to bring up a few things regarding Northwest Multiple Listing Service. One is this big issue that has come about mostly because of the requests of subscribers and members. As of tomorrow, which will be March 9th, you must input transactions that came about on a property that was not listed. So let me say this in a different way. If you're working with a for sale by owner, and you're writing up the sale, that is an unlisted property. If you have a Form 47, because you are representing a seller, they happen to have found their own buyer, that is an unlisted property. Or if you got a phone call, you're on floor, and a buyer or a seller has called you and said, hey, I know the house that I want to buy, or I know the person I want to sell to, can you facilitate the transaction? And you say yes. That is an unlisted property. In those 3 scenarios, you must enter that sale within 3 days of the transaction closing. So you don't enter it prior to the closing because there are no pending or contingent statuses available. You must enter it within 3 days of that transaction closing. Also, if you had any of those transactions from January 1st up to today's date, the 8th of March, you may enter it in. There will be a form specific regarding the property profile so that information is available so that we have all the most recent conveyances of properties to use when you guys are doing an analysis of value or the market of itself. Now keep in mind that properties that have not been exposed to the open marketplace, it is possible that that seller did not receive best price and or terms. So be aware of that if indeed you do end up using one of those properties as a comparison. Another issue I wanted to bring up to you, that if you do put any of your listing statuses in temporarily off the market, you must remove the sign and you must remove the key box. If that house is off the market temporarily or otherwise, there can be no marketing of that property. Third, busted. We went through disciplinary actions. I'll spare you on this. You could look at it at Northwest MLS site. Fourth, conversation regarding copyright on photos. If you are working with your own photographer, you need to make sure that they have signed a 13A, which gives you and the collective us the right to use those photographs. And not only to use those photographs during the course of the marketing of the active property, but also to use those photographs subsequent to closing. Some of the copyright agreements that a photographer might have provided to you stipulate specifically that you can only use those photos during the course of marketing the active property while you're soliciting a buyer. and not after the deal closes. So be aware of the contracts that you're signing and make sure that your photographers have signed a 13A. A reminder that this Thursday is legal lunch. Pacific Institute is going to be in Issaquah, April 11th through 12th. We have a core class being held here in the training center at Puyallup, Maine, and it's being held on April 4th. It is $30, and it's going to be from 9 to 12:30. Core is the class that you must have when you do a license renewal, so every 2 years you must take a core class. We congratulate Jim Smith for being with John L. Scott for 20 years. And last but not least, we were able to celebrate the fact that Doug, who has been dealing with throat and neck cancer, is completely healthy. He has won and won well. So, let that put a smile on everybody's face. Go out and make it a great week. Thanks.